Now this is actually one of my favorite parts of the presentation, which is trademark infringement, which is a horrible subject. But the example that I use is pretty enjoyable. I think you'll enjoy it as well. All right, so we're out of the range of getting a trademark, and how you go through that process. We're now saying, okay, you have a mark that you're using in commerce. How do you know if your mark infringes someone else's trademark registration, right? How do you know if someone else is infringing upon your trademark registration? This is what you have to do. You have to go through this analysis. The biggest part of this analysis is likelihood of confusion. Remember the standard for a trademark, right? Word, phrase, thing of that nature, that identifies and distinguishes the source of goods of one party from another, okay? It's from the perspective of the consumer. This standard is also from the perspective of the consumer. Whether a consumer is likely to be confused by one mark versus another, okay? So then, this is a number of the factors. These are the most important factors that courts look at to determine whether there has been some level of trademark infringement. But I think it's actually easier to describe it by giving you this small clip here. This is from one of my favorite movies, Coming to America. Y'all recognizes it immediately. And in this scene, you have Prince Hakeem, who comes to the United States to get his spouse. He wants to find this woman he wants to marry. That's her, that's his love interest. And he's in the audience and he wants to impress upon her his ability. So he goes and ends up working for her father, who is Mr. McDowell. Okay? I'll run the scene and then we can talk about it after.
Thank you.
She is wonderful.
Hakeem.
You can see Lisa and Mr. McDowell at McDowell Restaurant, 8507 Queens Boulevard.
8507 Queens Boulevard.
All right, fellas. Now, your first job every morning would be to sweep this walkway. Then, I want you to wash all the windows. Real good, too. And don't leave no streaks. Hey. Hey. What are you doing? Get the hell out of here before I bust that camera. Look, me and the McDonald's people, we got this little misunderstanding. See, they're McDonald's. I'm McDowell's. Huh? They got the golden arches. Mine is the golden arcs. Now, see, they got the Big Mac. I got the Big Mick. We both got 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, and onions. But they use a sesame seed bun.
Okay,
My
now
buns
that's
have no
absolutely
seeds.
hilarious to me. I'm sorry. But let's go through this in detail. Okay, we're going to use this as an example of showing trademark infringement at its finest. Okay, so here you have McDowell's golden arcs versus McDonald's golden arches, right? I mean, clearly just looking at it, you can see the similarity. And here, there we go. All right. This is just a structure I use to kind of give you an idea of the analysis that might go through with a likelihood of confusion standard. As you see on the far left column are all the factors that we had talked about earlier. And then we can just kind of run through these, as you can see. The strength of the mark. You look at the strength of the federal trademark registration versus what the accused infringer is doing. And in here, you know, the golden arches is a very strong mark, okay? And that leads to an interpretation that there is trademark infringement if you have anything that is similar to that very strong mark, such as the golden arcs, right? Proximity of the goods is exactly the same. Similarity of the marks, here we go again, right? With the strength, tied in with the strength of the mark. Actually, evidence of actual confusion is very interesting. When they were taping Coming to America, a local McDonald's owner threatened to file suit, okay, because he really thought it was a real restaurant. And so that, I mean, you can't find better evidence than that of actual confusion, okay? Marketing channels are the same. Degree of care exercised by purchaser might actually push in the direction of the golden arcs a little. Now, Mr. McDowell, with his, this is just a little misunderstanding, is not going to hold up, okay? I'm sorry, you know, he's just not going to get away with that. There's no mistake here that he is intending to make his business look like a McDonald's. And so based upon this analysis, this is a pretty easy case, okay? So if you are in the position where you are dealing with trademark infringement, again, selfless self-promotion here, but I do feel like you need to hire an intellectual property attorney. This is not a very simple area. This is something you would want to make sure that you have counsel on in all of these areas, okay?